You ever see something so wrong it just makes your blood boil, but also leaves you kind of stunned? Yeah, that happened to me the other day. My daughter, Maya, was handcuffed right outside her school. No joke. There she was, this tiny girl with tears streaming down her face, her wrists raw from those cold metal cuffs, and me standing there, thinking, how did it come to this? Let me back up a sec. I'd planned to surprise Maya that day. Usually, I send my driver to pick her up. Never been one to show up myself. You know how it is. But this time, I figured why not? She always asks why I never come. So I pulled up early, waiting to see that little smile light up when she spotted me. Instead, I was scrolling through emails on my phone, just killing time, when this scream cut right through the calm afternoon air. Daddy, Daddy, help me. I looked up and my heart just dropped. Across the street, Maya was being dragged, like she was some kind of criminal, by a man in a black suit. She was crying, pleading, let me go. I didn't do anything. And that poor backpack of hers, it fell to the ground like it weighed a ton. I was frozen for a split second, then rage took over. I stormed across the street and yelled, what do you think you're doing with my daughter? The guy holding her turned, surprise flickering in his eyes as he tightened his grip, but I wasn't having it. Sir, this is school security business, he said, all official-like. School business? Yeah, school business that involves cuffing a 6-year-old and dragging her through the street like she'd committed some felony. She was caught stealing. He added like it's just routine protocol. Stealing? My Maya? That's when I snapped. No, my daughter doesn't steal. Let her go. And Maya, through her sobs, reached out to me. Daddy, I swear, I didn't take anything. They said I took a teacher's watch, but I didn't. I tried to tell them, but no one listened. I crouched down and wiped her tears, whispering, I believe you. I'm here now. Nobody's going to hurt you. Then I turned back to the guy, voice cold as ice. Take off those cuffs, or I promise you'll regret ever working in this city. He hesitated. He's probably not used to being talked to like that, but I could see the doubt in his eyes. Why then? A small crowd had gathered. Parents whispering, wondering what the hell was going on. Isn't that Richard Hawthorne? I heard someone say. Yeah, that's me. And I wasn't about to let anyone else humiliate my daughter. Take those cuffs off. I repeated, blocking their path like a brick wall. We were ordered by the school to detain her, the man stammered. Until when? Until you dragged her through the street like some animal? Until you humiliated her in front of everyone. I was done with their excuses. Do you even have proof, or are you just taking someone else's word for it? The man fell silent. I glanced at the school building and caught sight of teachers watching nervously from behind windows. One of them, a woman with her arms crossed, gave me a look before disappearing inside. Of course, they were hiding. Last warning, I said, voice low but deadly. Remove the cuffs, or I call my lawyer. This will cost you more than you think. Reluctantly, he pulled out a key. The cuffs clicked open, and Maya whimpered. Rubbing her wrists raw from the metal dot, I scooped her up immediately, holding her close, whispering, It's okay now, baby. Daddy's here. No one's going to touch you again. But inside, I was burning with anger for those who thought they could treat her like this and walk away. We walked back to my car, Maya trembling in my arms, and I promised her, I'll find out who did this. And when I do, they'll regret ever laying a finger on you. The second she was safely buckled in the back seat, I called my assistant, James, and told him to drop everything. Full background check on the school, every staff member, every policy, every lawsuit. I wanted my legal team ready. No stone left unturned. Maya looked up at me through the rearview mirror, those big brown eyes still wet with tears. Daddy, are you mad at me? She asked softly. My heart broke all over again. No, sweetheart. Never at you. I'm mad at them, the people who tried to hurt you and got away with it. The next morning, I stormed into that school like a storm. Staff and parents froze the second they saw me walk in. The principal tried to start with, Mr. Hawthorne, but I cut him off with a raised hand. Where's the teacher who accused my daughter of stealing? He hesitated, then stammered about confusion and explanations. No explanations. You humiliated my daughter. You handcuffed her in front of everyone. You owe her answers. Then Mrs. Kane, The teacher who pointed fingers at Maya stepped forward, avoiding my gaze, mumbling something about Maya being near her desk before the watch went missing that I wasn't buying it. My daughter didn't steal anything, I said, voice low but fierce. And then, out of nowhere, a voice from the doorway interrupted. It was me. Everyone turned to see a pale boy Maya's age, eyes wide and shaking. I took the watch. It was a prank, but when they started yelling at Maya, I got scared and didn't say anything. The room went silent except for gasps. My face darkened. You let my daughter suffer because you were too scared to tell the truth? I said, voice barely a whisper but full of menace. His parents rushed in, apologizing profusely, but I cut them off. This isn't just about a watch anymore. It's about a child's dignity. I looked right at the principal and staff. You cuffed my daughter on hearsay. You dragged her through the street. And you, Mrs. Kane, you let prejudice decide guilt before even asking a question. Murmurs spread like wildfire among the parents outside. My voice rose, shaking the room. You run a school, not a court. Yet you acted like judge, jury, and executioner. The next day, I held a press conference, standing on the school steps with Maya by my side. Cameras flashed as I said, my daughter was falsely accused and humiliated because of prejudice and careless mistakes. This ends now, not just for her, but for every kid who's ever been silenced. Cheers erupted, reporters fired questions. Will you sue the school? Are you funding an investigation? I raised a hand, calm but firm. This isn't about revenge. It's about justice. By week's end, the principal and Mrs. Kane were suspended pending investigation. The school board issued a public apology. And Maya? She walked back into school with her head held high, me right beside her. The same kids who whispered behind her back? They were silent now. Some even clapped. Daddy, she whispered as we walked in. Why are they looking at me like that? I smiled, squeezing her hand gently. Because they're finally seeing the real you, brave, kind, and stronger than they ever imagined. Everyone who saw her dragged away in cuffs was shocked. The staff who tried to bury the truth were shocked. Even the boy who lied thought he'd gotten away with it. But no one was more surprised than Maya when I knelt down outside that school and said softly, You didn't just survive this, sweetheart. You changed more lives than you know. Tears welled up in her eyes as she whispered back, Thanks for believing in me, Daddy. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think? Was this school justified or did they cross a line? Does justice really get served when power fights back? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what real fairness looks like these days. And hey, if this story hit you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because no kid should ever feel like they're alone in a fight like this. Stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.